So as I said in the chapter 12 video, chapters 12, 13, and 14 are about some usage things, capitalization, spelling, and this video's case, and then last time in punctuation. So in chapters 13 and 14, I really don't think I need to rehash every single rule. So I'll go over some of them. But as I said in the last video, it's all about you just sitting down and learning them. And it's not that they're complex, it's just that there's a lot to remember. So I don't want to waste your time. And again, just rehash things that you can read for yourself because you're supposed to read the chapter anyway. So capitalization has 5 major rules and 10 minor rules. I believe it's 10. So we'll touch on those. On these a little bit more, on the minor rules a lot less. So make sure you always capitalize the first letter of a sentence. Make sure you always capitalize the pronoun I. My I looks funny because it's italicized, but I promise it's an I. Make sure you only capitalize proper nouns. Sometimes students capitalize random words for whatever reason, and really you only need to capitalize proper nouns. So an example is high school. If you're just saying, I went to high school, that's not a proper noun. Remember, going way back to the beginning of the quarter when you learned about nouns, proper nouns are a specific thing. So high school is not specific. It's a time in your life. It's a level of school. It's very general, as opposed to Pendleton High School. If you were to say, I went to Pendleton High School, yes, the whole thing would need to be capitalized. It is a title of a place. So make sure you do not capitalize nouns that are not proper nouns. That's all you only need to capitalize proper nouns. Proper adjectives, same thing. If it's something specific, then it needs to be capitalized, otherwise it doesn't. And then titles before names, such as Dr., Mr., Mrs., things like that. So that's pretty generic. All right, so here are the minor rules. This should all be very, very familiar. Regions of the country. So if you say I'm Southern, it doesn't need to be capitalized, but in the South, they do this. Days, weeks, and holidays all need to be capitalized. Countries and languages all need to be capitalized. Titles. I will spend a second on titles because you need to have a title with every essay that you write. And so the major words in book titles are capitalized. So the major words in your papers need to be capitalized. So you may be asking, well, what's a major word? Okay, something like in. This little word right here is not a major word. So if this were a title, you would capitalize major, words, book, and titles. Okay, so little itty-bitty words like this, not important. Now, what about the word is? Is a verb. Is a linking verb. It's only 2 letters, but it's a major word because it's the verb. Make sense? So something like in or on, not necessary. Is necessary. Okay? So the major words, I can't distinguish between big and small because, again, is a very small word, but it's very important. It's the verb. Okay? So, if in doubt, capitalize it. Names of groups and organizations, building and businesses, school courses, historical periods, and acronyms. All of that needs to be capitalized. I will say with acronyms, if you ever use an acronym in an essay, make sure you define it first. So if you do the NRA, I assume that's the National Rifle Association, right? That's why you would need to define it, because maybe there's a different NRA that's out there. Blah, blah, blah. So in order to define it, just say the the National Rifle Association, and then in parentheses you could put the acronym, or you could say in the NRA, also known as the National Rifle Association. Anyway, how you define it really doesn't matter, but you have to do that. And then once you define what it stands for, you don't have to do that again. You can just use the acronym for the rest of your paper. But all the letters in the acronym need to be capitalized. Spelling. I am not going to go into all the tiny, crazy spelling rules. If issues with spelling, really, practice is just your best friend. Sitting here and learning a bunch of rules is not going to help you as much as practicing is. So there are different rules with making plurals, going from singular to plural, abbreviations, all of that. Just review that in the book. I really don't think it's something I need to cover at this second. Numbers I will touch on because you need to know when to spell them out and when to use numerals. So technical MLA standards require you to spell out 1 through 10. So here I did it wrong. I shouldn't have done that. It would be O-N-E to T-E-N. Okay? And then anything over 11, you just use numerals. So I like that rule. It's cut and dry. Is it 10 or below? Spell it out. If it's 11 or above, numerals, easy. However, the textbook says that if it's 2 words or less, you can spell it out. So if it's 29, spell it out. If it's 99, spell it out. And I don't know. I like the MLA guideline a lot more, but I'm not going to require you to do that because I would be totally contradicting the book. So you can either go with the MLA standard or you can go with what the textbook says. I will try to not harp on you if you go with what the textbook says. It just goes against everything that I have been taught myself and everything I teach in every other class. So sorry, I'm not going to go over a lot of spelling rules. Just practice. It's got a list of commonly misspelled words in there, I believe. Yeah. So review those if you need to see the difference. But again, I don't want to waste your time with that. So if you have any specific questions, always come to me, and I will be happy to help.